Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will continue on our topic 7, which is our last topic, which is events. So this is the outcome for topic 7. Okay, we have several outcomes. First, the introduction to event processing, and we will go through several types of events. Okay, we have world events, keyboard events, mouse events, and conditions events. Okay, introduction to the event processing. Event-driven programming. So the programming paradigm that requires event interaction, okay, we call event-driven programming. So in this event-driven programming, the program executions is determined by the event. So example of the event is mouse click or a key press on your keyboard. So events. Events is actually referred to actions or occurrence detected, okay, by a program. Okay, events can be a user actions, okay, such as clicking a mouse button or pressing a key, or system occurrence, okay, such as running out of memory. Okay. Most modern applications are said to be event driven, okay, because they are designed to respond to the events, or we call such as the interactive process. Okay. So in this topic, actually we will learn, okay, how we can create the actions based on the events, okay, which is the user action. Okay, for example, what will happen when we click the mouse, okay, what will happen when we press any key. Okay, so that is actually the main objective for this topic. Event, listener, and handler. So an event, okay, needed to be responded to execute the actions. A listener watches for the events to be executed, while handler is responsible for dealing with the events. So as I explained, events, actions such as we click the mouse. Okay, so listener will watch for the event to be executed. So if we choose the keyboard listener, so it will refer to the keyboard event. Okay, and then handler is actually responsible for dealing with the event. Okay, so handler is actually referring to that method or action, what will happen when we click the button of your mouse, for example. So we will use event handler to listen to the event. Okay, so in Alice tree, event handler is actually referring to a method, okay, that executed in response to the event. And Alice tree provide event listener classes, okay, with event handlers or methods. So we have different type of event listener classes, okay, such as mouse event listener, keyboard event listener. Okay, so all these event listener come with the event handler or the methods, okay, that will be respond based on the event, okay, for that listener class. Event source is the situation, okay, on which event occurs. Okay, so a listener must be registered to the event source. Okay, once registered, it will get notified when the event source generates the events. Okay, so event source is actually the situation, what will happen, okay, when we click the mouse, for example. Okay, so that means by event source, okay, the situation. Okay, so the event source will notify to the listener, okay, so to the event listener, which is the handler method. Okay, for example, event listener, keyboard event listener, so it will notify to the keyboard. Okay, but the event listener must be registered first to the event source, to the situation. So we have 4 types of event listener in Alice tree, okay, to detect the type of event sources. Okay, we have scene activation or time, keyboard, okay, event listener, mouse event listener, and the position or orientation event listener. So this is the type of event listener in the Alice tree. So most commonly used events in interactive programming are keyboard events and mouse events. Okay, so the most important events that you need to know in Alice tree is actually these 2 events, okay, mouse event and also keyboard events. Okay, other than these 2 events, we also have world event. Okay, so world event allow event occurs within the scene or time interval. okay, within the scene or a time. So meaning that if you want to change scene from one scene to another scene, so you can choose world event. And we also have condition events. So this one, which the event occurs conditionally, okay, when something becomes true, okay, which is the position or the orientation. But for the last event, which is condition event, the practical is not covered in our syllabus, so we just go through the theoretical for the condition events. Okay, we have several events that Alice tree can detect. Okay, so this is the list, okay, the Alice tree that can detect. Okay, example here, okay, we have here, okay, when the mouse is clicked on something, so that we call an event. Okay, when mouse click something, so what happened, yeah? So the event occurs when the user click on the object in the world, okay, with the mouse. For example, we have the object ball, and then we click on the ball, so what will happen to the ball? Okay, so that is the example of event when we click on the mouse. Okay, or when we type, okay, using a keyboard, okay, when a key is typed or while a key is pressed. So this is actually all the list of the events. Yeah, so and we have the description here, so you can read, okay, what kind of events that we have, okay, in Alice tree. So we start with our world first event, which is world event. So world event, okay, which is scene activations. So allow to change the scene by scene, okay, by creating the world or scene method. Okay, so for our first event listener, which is scene activation of time. Okay, so the scene activation of time category has two options: add scene activation listener and also add time listener. Okay, so this is the option for the scene activation or time. Okay, so add scene activation listener allow to call different scene settings. So if you want to change the scenes, okay, so you can choose the first options. Okay, add scene activation listener. So this is actually the method how we can change the scene from one scene to another scene. So we have three methods. Okay, so three steps. So we start with the creating a scene method. Okay, and then we set a method name, and you can define the instruction, okay, to create a new method for the new scene. Okay, so I will show you sorry, for the next video for all demo, okay, for this theory events. Yeah, and the new method that you have created need to be activated or called, or it will not be executed. Okay, so you need to add new method into the listener scene activated. Okay, so here you must drag your new method that you have created, okay, to the scene activated. Okay, by default scene activated, it will just run the my first method. Okay, so previously in our lab, previously we only used the my first method code editor, right? Okay, to put all the coding. Okay, but now if you want to change the scene, so you need to create new scene. Okay, and then you need to call the new scene. If not, it will just run the my first method. Okay, so this also I will show you in the demo. So this is the example. Okay, you have two scene. Okay, so the first scene is actually here, okay, by using the grass background. Okay, and then the second scene that you have created by new method, okay, the jump scene. Okay, we change the scene, okay, which is the sandy desert. Okay, so it will change when we run, it will change from this grass, okay, to the sandy desert. Okay, so this is the coding, okay, for both scenes. Okay, so the scene will be changed, okay, when the program is executed. So this also I will show you. And then another option for world event is times. Okay, add time listener allow the event to happen during in time interval. So what will happen to the object, okay, during the time that we have set. Okay, for example, continue from the previous scene, okay, from the grass to the sandy desert. So we want to keep on rolling the ball, okay, from one side to another side. Okay, so we add another object, which is ball. So we want the ball keep rolling, okay, from one scene, which is from grass scene to the sandy desert continuously. Okay, so we will change we will use that situation by using the add time listener. Okay, so this is the object, okay, which is the ball. Okay, so when we choose the time, okay, listener, okay, for the time elapsed listener, okay, you will expect that the time interval will elapse and the action will occur. So when we run the coding, so the object will keep moving, okay, during the time interval. Okay. Next event is mouse event. Okay, so this is the most commonly used event. So it trigger when the user click on the mouse on the object. Okay. So the mouse event category has three options. So we have three options here. Okay, so add mouse click on the object listener, add mouse click on the screen listener, and add default mode model manipulation. Okay. So the mouse click event listener fires when the mouse is clicked on any object in the scene. Okay, so you must click on the object so it will take action. Okay. But a mouse click on the scene's ground surface or atmosphere will ignore by this listener. Okay, so if you choose the mouse click on the object, so if you click on the scene ground surface, so it will ignore. And the mouse click listener have three functions. Okay, so we can use this function. Okay, we can choose any function here, but most commonly used is the first function, okay, which is event get model at mouse locations. Okay, meaning that what will happen when you click on certain object. Okay, so for this another two, okay, get screen distance from left, get screen distance from bottom is actually referring to what will happen to the object, okay, when we click to the object, and that it will move, okay, based on the coordinate. Okay, for example, for screen distance from left, so the object, okay, will move from the based on the value of the coordinate for the locations. Okay, so distance from bottom, okay, y coordinate. Okay, so I will show you in the demo to get the differences between these two. Okay, and the last one, a model at mouse location. Okay, return a link to the click object. Okay, meaning that what will happen to the object when we click. Okay, so to check whether the user has clicked on the object, yeah, so we need to use the decision, right? So what will happen? So, yeah, so we need to use the decision, which is if statement. So the condition is tested with the relational, which is as think, and then preferable to compare using equal. Okay, so this is the process. How we can make sure that when we click on something, so it will take actions. So we need to use the if statement. Okay, example here. When the mouse click on the soccer ball, so we have a soccer ball here, so the soccer ball will turn left. Okay, so we use the mouse click on the object, okay, and then we use the if statement, okay, if statement, okay, and then we choose the first option, which is get model mouse at location, okay, equal to soccer ball. Okay, so equal to soccer ball, because in this example we want the ball will turn left. Okay, so equal to, you need to choose the object that you need to click on. Okay, so in this case you need to click on the soccer ball, so that's why the value here, the object here, you choose the soccer ball, and then what will happen, so you choose any actions. So this also I will show you in the demo. The next event is keyboard event. So keyboard event trigger when the user types a key on the keyboard and then release the key. Okay, so the first three options, okay, because we have four options actually in the keyboard events. Okay, the first three, add key press listener, add arrow key press listener, and add number key press listener is actually work in the same way. Okay, in the same way. Okay, so we have 4 options here. Okay, if you choose the key press listener, for example, okay, so the first one, event is a letter. So event is a letter, meaning that you can press any letter on your keyboard. Okay, so you will take action to the object. Yeah, so that's why here is mentioned that returns a boolean value if the true is true if the key press is a letter. Okay, so you can press any letter on your keyboard. Okay, so it will take action to the object. Okay, the second function is event is digit. So event is the digit, meaning that it will return a boolean value is true if the key press is a digit. Okay, and meaning that you need to press a digit or a number, okay, to make sure that the object can take any actions. Okay, and the third one, event get key, return a char value representing the key press. Okay, so the get key is actually same with the letter and also digit. You can press any key, either letter or a digit. Okay, and the last one, event is key, okay, returns a boolean value that is true if the key press is equal to the key arguments. So meaning that for the last option, we as a user need to decide which key that need to be pressed to make sure that the action can be performed. Okay, so for example, if you want to move the ball, you need to press key L, okay, which is letter L. So you choose here, okay, key L. So every time the user press key L, so the ball will move. But if you press another key, so the ball will not move. That means by the last options, okay, event is key. We decided the type of key, either letter, either digit. Okay. Okay, meanwhile, we have a last listener, which is add object move 4. So add object move 4 will allow object to be moved using keyboard automatically. Okay, so by using the arrow on your keyboard, up, down, left, and right. So we can press any arrow here to move the object. Or other than arrow key, we also can use the letter WASD. Okay, WASD. Okay, replacement of the up, down, left, and right. That means by the last listener, add object move 4. Okay, if you want the object to move automatically by using arrow or by using certain letter. Okay, so this is for the keyboard event. And our last event is condition event. Okay, condition event, which is the position orientation events, have 9 menu options. But for the last menu option, okay, that listed in a pair of listeners, we have one for the start or enter, and then one for the end or exit. Okay, so we have a pair, okay, for start and also end listener. For example, if you refer to this menu, we have collision. Okay, the collision event has pair of listener. Okay, add collision start listener and then add collision end listener. Okay, so what will happen if we choose this event? Okay, the collision occurs when one object physically touches another object. Okay, so for example, a car being driven down the highway might veer off the road and hit a tree. Hence, the car is actually collide with a tree. Okay, so in Alice tree, collision listener detect a virtual touch. Okay, detects a virtual touch with some portion of object in the same location in the world as some portion of another object. Okay, so how the Alice tree can detect the collision? Okay, so Alice tree computes a bounding box shape, okay, that encloses the object. For example, we have object ostrich here. Okay, so a computed bounding box. Okay, so you can see here we have a box, okay, surrounding on an ostrich. So object is said to be collide with the ostrich, okay, if the object has entered the bounding box space. So that is how Alice tree will detect the collision. Okay, we need to set the box, okay, or the boundary of the object. Okay, so when another object, okay, touch the boundary that we have set, so it said that collision happened. Okay? So this is the condition event. So that means by conditionally. Okay, so the collision will happen when, okay, the object will touch the bounding box that we have created. Okay, so but these events, the lab practice will be not covered in the syllabus, so you just know the theoretical part only. Okay, so that's all uh, the events, okay, the type of events. So we have 4 types, okay, world events, uh, keyboard events, mouse event, and condition events. So the most important part that you need to know by practically is actually the 3 events, which is world, mouse, and keyboard. Yeah, and then the most commonly used events for at least 3 is actually mouse and keyboard events. Okay, so that's all for theoretical for topic 7. So for our next video, I will show you the demo for this topic.